Jackie B. Peterson. I'm the author of Better, Smarter, Richer, 7 Business Principles for Solo and Creative Entrepreneurs. My mission to help solos, those of you in one-person businesses, whether you're a creative or an encore entrepreneur, a consultant, a coach, a painter, a photographer, all of you who work in those one-person businesses that are so important to our economy, I want to help you understand and apply the 7 solo business principles to your enterprises so that you can find the financial success you're seeking. Please visit my website, www.bettersmarterricher.com. There you can download the free ebook outlining the 7 principles, sign up for the free newsletter, and join the conversation on the blog. It's pretty lively. We've got a lot of things that we talk about as solos. Also, stay tuned into this weekly radio show, which is posted to www.soloproradio.com. We'd love to have you do that. So my guest today is Gannette Bell. She's also known as Coca, and she became a certified reflexologist in 2007 and later took an acupressure course to better understand the meridians of the feet. I think that's great. Coca's former certifications back up the hands-on training that she got through her growing up years as she worked on and with her grandmother and her great-grandmother, who taught Coca how to properly massage their feet to relieve pain. Coca, you gave me an idea. I'm going to have to talk to my granddaughter. So Coca's practice represents her formal training as well as her years of hands-on training from that family where generations of women have taught one another the power of what we call reflexology. Clients find reflexology relaxing, say that it improves circulation, reduces tension and pain, and complements conventional medical treatment. We're going to have a great conversation. Hello, Gannette. Hello, Coca.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm going to call you Coca through our interview if that's okay with you.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So, Coca, tell us more about your background and your journey, what it was growing up and about those grandmothers and great-grandmothers, and then, how you came to be where you are today.
Okay, well, I grew up in Southern California, the oldest of 4 children. I have no sisters, so 3 younger brothers. Essentially, my father had 4 boys. Much to my mom's dismay, I was a tomboy through and through. I spent most of my time with my grandmother and great-grandmother. When I got tired of my friends, when I felt they were just too silly or what have you. So it was there that like you'd mentioned before, that I learned reflexology. I learned how to cook. I learned what herbs helped your stomach feel better or, relieve the headache or that kind of thing, which was just really, really great. At our large family gatherings, my great aunts and aunts, they all paid me $1, which was a lot of money in the mid to late 70s for a kid, to rub their feet. And so that's pretty much how I got my start with reflexology, or where I am today.
Wow, that's interesting. So you were kind of steeped in a family tradition of hands-on medicine and natural medicine early on, because so many people find it strange to be in that kind of a modality, to be in the natural healing. And it sounds like, because you were learning herbs and you were learning feet rubbing and all those sorts of things, that you were in it from the very beginning.
Yes, I was. And I like that you said it's, and I think it's like you said, it's great that it's passed down generation to generation, mm-hmm. And then it's also forgotten a lot. We don't pass down a lot of things anymore, and I'm just very grateful that I was able to have this gift and that I could hone it. To make others feel better.
Oh, that's great. So what I like, I always chuckle about it, Coca, is when there's an article in the newspaper that they have just found that the scientists have found that something, in the traditional natural medicine works.
Yes.
You say, of course it works.
I'm there with you. I'm like, really? What were they doing before pills, my late husband, he called me Coca. Years later, when we were dating, we went to the library, and I got an English to Italian dictionary, and I looked up the word, and I was really upset and mad at him. I didn't talk to him for the rest of the day. I found out that the English translation for the word Coca is spoiled. Negative connotation in our world, right? Which is why I didn't talk to him. And then once he explained the whole thing that, you know, in Italian it means pampered and well taken care of, and then, you know, he said that's exactly what I should be. And he laughed, kissed my forehead, and walked away saying something in Italian. So I felt a little bit better, but, you know, not really, because I wasn't sure what the laughter was for. So, but that's how I got the name, and all of his friends called me that. And when I first started my business, I thought, well, that's a perfect name for what I want to do. So I'm 50-50. Half the people I know call me Gannette, and the other half call me Coca. So I will answer to both.
That's funny. I get it more from coaching my sons, and I've got one particularly who's a pretty successful business owner, and he says that when our conversation is Mom, that it's going to be on a more personal level, but if I sign it Jackie, I'll send him an email. He knows I'm, you know, coaching him about his business.
Oh, yeah.
Different discussions, you know, based on what we're talking to how we're talking to each other.
How you're talking to each other, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. So your bio talks about you teaching kindergarten and first grade for 8 years. So what do you love about teaching? And, you know, what told you that was not for you?
Well, my family says since I could talk, I said I wanted to be a teacher and a mommy. So I kind of, again, born with that desire. So I taught 8 years in California, where I'm from, and 8 years here in Oregon. You asked what I loved most about teaching?
Yeah.
There's nothing more thrilling to me than seeing 5- and 6-year-olds fly. When they understand that they know something and they can help other people with that, it's just the greatest thing in the world for me, you know, to see that. And it's just absolutely fantastic. You know, they can help cook because they can measure things. They read everything. You know, they understand mixing paint colors to get another color, dancing, making ice cream in a coffee can, butter in a baby food jar. Just, you know, the whole fascination of life through the eyes of a 5- and 6-year-old is just absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
I stopped teaching when it stopped being about the children. When testing became what teaching is about. That's not what I signed up for. I didn't spend all those years in school and obtaining a master's degree so that I could go by a script to teach kids how to take a test in, you know, a year or so.
Right.
So it just kind of lost its sparkle for me when that became the focus.
Isn't that sad? Because I think kids are probably really lucky to have you, you know, when you're so excited about it. I don't know how to make butter in a baby food jar.
It's a lot of shaking, let me tell you.
Shaking. That's funny. Oh, that's just funny.
Yeah.
And having a 7-year-old granddaughter who she just turned 7, I would agree with you. Their eyes just light up when they catch something, you know, and something new comes along and, you know, reads everything. It's truly exciting.
Yeah,
I can understand that. So when you made this transition, did you go directly then into reflexology, and how'd you choose that?
No, well, I started first with facials. I went to cosmetology school to become to become an esthetician. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
And one of the courses of study was massage, and there were several massage techniques that we were taught, and reflexology was one of those. Because of conference time at work, I missed the first class, which explained all about reflexology and what it was, but I came in on the hands-on day, and my partner was explaining how we were rubbing feet and that she just really didn't want to touch anybody's feet.
Uh-huh.
And so it was there that I was like, oh my gosh, I know how to do this. And so the sparks, started flying there, and I took classes at the East-West College. I read Laura Norman's book, Feet First, and looked for a more formal study close by if possible, but the closest class at the time was in Canada, and I just couldn't figure out how to do how to make that work and still live here. So
yeah. So what training is involved to become a specialist in reflexology? What are all the things you had to study?
Oh, the entire system, it pretty much follows that of a massage therapist.
Okay.
Except with most of the focus being on the feet and specific techniques for specific ailments. Mm-hmm. But, so there's a lot of things that go into it. But for the most part, it's following that of a massage therapist, a physical therapist, a podiatrist, you study the entire body. I was just surprised at all the anatomy that I had to go through for this certification.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll bet. And, I go regularly to an acupuncturist, so it seems to me that you're working with acupressure points as well, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So how would you describe to our listeners, what is reflexology?
Oh, reflexology is a method for, how can I say it so it's not like just really woo-woo and out of this world sounding. It's a method to amplify the body's natural healing powers.
Oh, no, I like that.
It's like, that's not too woo-woo, is it?
No.
It's both an art and a science that requires careful study, constant practice, sound knowledge of techniques, and I think it's one of the best forms for alternative healing. It's something that should go along with your current course of medical health.
Mm-hmm. 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 Are people beginning to do that? Are they beginning to add reflexology to their, their health practice with, I assume they, still go to a Western medical practitioner, but are they adding reflexology to their, their health regimen? Are you finding people come regularly to you?
I find in the beginning I had people coming to me more for relaxation.
Uh-huh.
Because most reflexologists do it for relaxation. But it's slowly growing that more people are coming to me for their medical support. So if they're mostly a massage therapist or a naturopathic physician or a chiropractor will refer a client to me.
I see. Okay, so you're getting referrals from other alternative health practitioners.
Yes. It's like you mentioned before, the medical world is like, oh, look, these old ways do work. And we're still trying to figure out exactly how reflexology works because it's not, it's not defined 100% by science.
Because that was my next question. So you say people, they get relaxation. So what makes it work? As I understand it, Coca, because I've seen charts of different areas of the foot relate to different areas of the body. So, if you've got a problem with lungs, there's a certain area of the foot that you work on. I mean, is that right?
That's right. So there are 10 zones in the body. If you go, split yourself in half, you've got 5 on each side. And then these zones run the entire length of the body. And then you also have the same 5 zones running down your arm, and you've got the same 5 zones running down your feet. So all organs and body parts are in one or more of these zones. Each zone is a channel of energy, excuse me. So stimulating any zone in the foot by applying pressure with the thumb and fingers affects that entire zone of the body. So, for example, if, let's say you have kidney issues, maybe stones or something like that. So working the kidney reflex area of the foot will alleviate and balance the entire zone and improve the function of the foot. So it's basically opening the energy pathways that, accompany the, how do I say that? The subtle energy that accompanies neurological and circulatory functions do their work.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's really fantastic. Yeah. So, what are some of the conditions that you've treated with reflexology?
Inflammation, headaches, injury recovery, neuropathy, sinus issues. My mom is a chronic sinus person. She's just like constantly inflamed. So when I live there and then when I go home, I work on her hands and feet, and she's like instantly open and she can breathe. And so while I'm there every other day, I work on her and then she can breathe. And then once I'm gone, she's, pretty much clogged up and back to her vaporizer to get relief.
So is it something somebody could learn to self-administer, to do themselves?
Yes, you can. I can show you what areas to work to give yourself relief. And I often do. I have a lot of people who come for headaches, and so I show them where they can hold and massage, to help relieve their headache.
Oh, that's just wonderful. So are you continuing with your esthetician work, or do you just do totally reflexology now? Are you also an esthetician and you work in that field as well?
Yes, I do both.
Okay.
So I am working with doing facials for people as well as doing reflex for people. It's a weird combination, I know, and they don't really go together other than the fact that I enjoy them both. And I just love to see the glow that comes over people when they feel and look better, and how that grows for them when the people in their world notice it also. Yeah.
I'm a great believer in, as a coach to solos, that it helps you financially if you focus on one thing. And
yes.
The reason is that if you focus on one thing, you can be recognized as an expert in your field. And once you become recognized as an expert in your field, it's easier to market and you can charge more money. And, that makes it worthwhile to really lead with, one part of the services that you provide and have people know you for that one thing. And,
yes, and that's why reflex is my focus, my main focus.
Yeah, that's very smart of you. And then, if somebody asks or they've been a client for a long time, you can offer other things. But, people get you kind of in a sound bite, where they know one thing about you, Coca, Reflexology. Okay, now I can remember that, and they work that way. Yeah. So you certainly have a solo business, right? It's you.
Yes, it's me. It's me.
Yeah. So do you like being in business for yourself?
I do. There's, the same as the discovery of a child learning something for the first time. I have that same feeling that I'm able to express my dream, and it's helping other people, and that just makes me feel really good.
Oh, that's great. Great. So how long have you been doing this as a reflexologist?
As a reflexologist, a year and a half. It's been my sole focus.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is it growing?
It is. It is growing. Once I get people over the fear of somebody touching their feet and somebody wanting to touch their feet,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a big difference. And you know what? It's something that you have to experience. And when you feel that relief through your whole body, you want to keep coming back.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you get them over the fear of touching their feet?
That takes a lot of finesse. It depends on the person. I can talk them into it, one way or another. Generally, I may start by doing a little treatment on their hands, and I tell them, okay, now look, that's going to be amplified once we get to your feet. And I tell people, don't let your worry of stinky, nasty feet keep you from experiencing an awesome soul-to-soul connection. So come sit in my chair.
Oh, I like that, a soul-to-soul connection, huh?
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. So you're sending energy to them, and you're really connecting them with their own energy sources. So that's pretty wonderful. I would think people would like that a lot.
Yeah, connecting their energy sources through their feet, the soles of their feet, and pretty much the soles of their body.
Oh, that's pretty wonderful. So what do you like the most about being in business for yourself?
The happy foot dance, which I just
talk about that.
So the happy
foot dance.
The happy foot dance is what happens to those that are really skeptical about the whole procedure. There's no way you can make me feel better by rubbing my feet. And when we're done, and I'm putting my stuff up, and I sit them up from the chair, and they start to stretch out their toes and roll their feet around and flex and point, and it just makes me giggle inside. I'm like, oh, they did the happy feet dance. so that's what I look for.
So that sounds like you love the part of helping your clients discover something new that is really helpful to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, these are probably older people that are, your clients now, but I got the same picture of the 5-year-old with butter in the baby jar, and being, as excited, and that you love that now with your reflexology clients, that they are the same way. They're very excited with what happened when they did something new.
Yeah, and then just the amazement that, wow, you just rubbed my feet and my neck feels better. Or, you just rubbed my feet and my headache's gone and I can breathe. And, that whole, that connection, that discovery is the connection for them. Yes, that's very fascinating to me.
Oh, that's just wonderful. That's just wonderful. I think you've got a deep love of helping other people. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yes.
So what do you like the least about being a solopreneur and having your own business?
Oh, the back office stuff, social media. I'd rather be in the office working on someone's feet, or be somewhere at a networking event or something like that and talking about, what happens with the feet, than posting something on Facebook or updating my website, that kind of thing. That's not my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's true of a lot of solos, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, the most successful solopreneurs have moved to a space where they are spending the majority of their time doing the work that they love, and they're making enough money because they're really good at what they do and they have expertise and they're charging enough, and they are able to hire someone to do, you know, like the back office stuff, maybe the billing, maybe your bookkeeping, and updating your Facebook. I have a person that does all my Facebook stuff for me. And,
yes, that's my goal for January, to get that person.
It really, really is nice to do that. And she's articulate, she's a good writer, and, you know, she just keeps that running for me because we all know social media is fun, it's hugely important, and it's a time suck. You know, and
absolutely.
It's, you know, it's just one of those things that you can find somebody that will do that for you and even spend more time doing what you're, you know, particularly good at.
Yes.
That sounds like you're a wonderful healer. Pardon?
That's what I'm looking for, someone to do that for me. And I would say, yes, I am, to pat my own back. Just because of all the... Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. I can hear that.
Just because so many people, you know, feel better and they keep coming back and they tell others, and, you know, it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way to market, is have happy clients. So if somebody goes through a reflexology treatment and their neck feels better or their headache goes away, how long does that last?
Most in the beginning, there's maybe 2 to 3 days where it starts to come back. So depending on what it is exactly that they've come for treatment for, you know, the time could be different.
Yeah. So they need to tune up again.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, that's good. So you've probably got or developing a group of longtime customers who come to you regularly and bring other people with them.
Yes. A lot of, through networking, I have a lot of people that buy gift certificates for someone in their life that they, you know has a chronic pain or something. And then I've got, you know, the regulars also that tell people about it, and we then give them also a gift certificate so that they come and sit in the chair and experience it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Looks like you're doing a really good job growing your business.
Yes, it is.
It takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
It is a lot of work. I found that the best way right now seems to be with networking groups and gift certificates for growing. I've done school fundraisers at my daughter's school, silent auctions for various events, and that, you know, yields a couple of people, and then in turn, you know, they tell other people. So it is growing, and I'm slowly learning the ways that work best for me in the whole word of mouth strategy.
Oh, that's fabulous. Got any tips for our listeners of things that work really well?
Well, I found that with the gift certificate, if you give a teaser, so 20-minute service or a half an hour service if your regular service is an hour, you give them that, and then they're in the chair and they're feeling really good. They want to go the whole hour.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's worked a whole lot better than just giving a whole session away, because the person who received it didn't really find any value in it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's really not that important to them, and they don't really take it seriously, so to speak. So,
yes.
But I found by just giving a little bit of something, you know, and I mix bath salts and lotions, and so those go with the when I do a fundraiser and things like that. So they have something to take away and something to play with, and it smells good and it feels good. And then they have another piece of something that's got my logo and information in front of them that makes them call me.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Good idea. See, you're really paying attention to your marketing, and that's what it takes. The little things make a big difference. You know, I mean, they really do. Oh, good for you. So, you know, some more about how you find clients. Networking has been the best for you. Networking and referrals.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know? Are there certain kinds of events that really work better than others?
I've done just recently. I put a first-time service card in the bag for the Grimm employees at their end of the season soiree, and I've had a couple of people call me from that. I'm currently sponsoring a roller derby player, and so I've got, whenever she's doing something, my logo is on her, and she talks about how wonderful the services are, and so that brings people to me as well.
That's creative.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's how it goes right now, and I send postcards for the weird holidays like National Cheese Day to my current clients. That kind of thing. You know that odd holiday calendar? I find something on there, and I post something about that on my Facebook page, and I will send, just a little reminder, or, hey, it's National Cheese Day, and, you might want to try this kind of cheese, or I send a recipe or something, So, and last year for National Cheese Day, my daughter and I went to Tillamook, and we took goofy pictures there, and I sent that to people, in honor of National Cheese Day, and sent a recipe for, I forget what the recipe was for, but, cheese was involved, so it was really cool, and people called me about that, and, oh, thank you for sending that. I've been meaning to call you, or, I've told so-and-so about you, and I gave them that card, and, so then they call me that way.
Oh, that's just wonderful. And besides that, then they get to know that you have a lighthearted, kind of fun side to you, and that makes you less, more inviting to work with you. This is just serious stuff, and that there's a light.
Well, I hope it works.
I love sponsoring the roller derby player too. That's
wonderful. That's fun. Derby is great. I love watching it.
I think you're very creative, Coca. That's really pretty wonderful. So I see by your flyer that I have that you offer your services through a mobile spa. Now, how does that work, and what does that mean?
Well, I'm not doing it mobily anymore. So I was carrying everything to do the service in the client's home. I had, the whole setup, whether it was for a facial or whether it was for reflexology. I brought all of that into people's homes. So it was a 50-50 feeling for the client. They either really loved having someone come to their home, and then they were like totally relaxed and gelled, and they didn't have to get back into the car to drive home and, lose that awe feeling.
Yeah.
And then others that were self-conscious about their house not being clean enough or something, that would much rather have, come to me and be relaxed and then, go home. So I currently only go to those who can't or don't have the ability to get around. So there are a lot of seniors that I see at their home because, they're unable to drive anymore, or for whatever other reason they're just homebound. So right now it's just mostly seniors.
Okay, so which is very nice. That's a wonderful thing to do for people who can't get out. But you have what you've done instead of generally offering the mobile spas, you have them come to your place of business now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the business coach in me is saying, it gets expensive to drive out to somebody's place because somehow your fee has got to cover your time to get there, get set up, take everything.
Yeah, and I wasn't really doing that. So I wasn't really making that much money, and I was spending way too much time in the car. Where in a day I was probably seeing 2 or 3 people. But most of that time was, sitting on the 26 or 84 or,
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, that's only worthwhile if somebody's willing to pay for 2 hours of your time rather than for 1 hour of your time for the treatment, because that travel is so difficult. A lot of people are trying to figure out how to take their business, do it as an e-business where they really don't have to travel at all. People can reach each other with computers and e-tools. And I don't know if you've even thought about doing any of that yet or how that would apply when you're so hands-on,
I hadn't. I don't know how it would work being hands-on. It's something to think about for sure.
Yeah. Unless you developed a practice or a skill set around training other people or around training people how to, treat themselves, between sessions with you. And, you had ways that you bound them to you. So do you have a website?
Yes, I do. CocaSwitchFix.com.
Do people sign up for any kind of a newsletter or anything that you send out to them as part of your website?
No, I don't have that on my website. My website right now is just full of information about reflexology and the services that I offer. There's a little description of all of those there. Most of my mailings, like I mentioned before, are, goofy little postcards to let people know that I'm thinking about them. And, so that's pretty much it. I haven't really, as far as writing newsletter or creating a blog, I'm not really sure what to write about,
Yeah.
So once I figure that out, that will be there.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to, I have some ideas of things that you could do. I think that maybe a lot of the information that's on the face of your blog or on the face of your website might, be good blog posts themselves a little bit more deeply about them. And that, on your website you talk about benefits of reflexology rather than features of reflexology. Because one of the big marketing things is that people buy benefits. And what we tend to do is sell features. And we all fall into that.
That's something I would be very interested in learning how to do.
Yeah. So are there a lot of reflexology practitioners? Is there a lot of competition for what you do?
There's not really a lot in the metro area. I know most of the reflexologists that are in this area. So I wouldn't say that there's competition for this profession. I've noticed that everyone has their own niche. Many of the reflexologists in the area are focused on relaxation. There are a couple that do reflex in hospice care. There's There are two that are maternity support. So if you, from start to finish, if you want to get pregnant and, help you maintain all of the ins and outs of pregnancy, when you're pregnant, you can't take any medication.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So the reflexologist can help you with those symptoms, and then when you're overdue or you're close to your due date, it can help you, move that along. So that's what I mean, maternity support start to finish. Uh-huh. There are reflexologists that focus on diabetic foot care. There are reflexologists that partner with chiropractors. So when the chiropractor is working on one part of the body, they're at the feet and they're, manipulating that pressure point or that zone area also to amplify the chiropractic treatment. So that's pretty much how it is in this area. My focus is for pain relief of all kinds. Many of my clients have neuropathy, they're and or diabetic. I've had clients come to me who had broken limbs, sprained ankles, these kinds of things. Do we have time? Can I tell you a story about the nurse?
Absolutely, we have time. Go ahead.
About 2 years ago, 2 weeks after school was out, this nurse was getting her yard ready for a 4th of July function. Her family and friends were all coming over. She fell off the ladder and she broke her leg. Oh. A week after surgery, first of all, she begged the doctor to give her a soft, removable cast. They wanted to, traditionally you go into a hard cast. So he didn't really want to do it, but he did it because she was a nurse. And a week after surgery, I started reflexology sessions on her 2 times a week for, a long time. Anyway, so the doctors told her that with the kind of break that she had, they think they could have her on crutches by spring break. Not really sure that it would be good for her to go back to work then. So, like I said, this was July. She fell off the ladder, broke her leg. A week later, so that was about the beginning of July, mid-July, started sessions twice a week for an hour. And by September, she was on crutches. By November, when she started physical therapy, she didn't really, have all that much to do with the physical therapist. And the physical therapist suggested that she could start to use crutches a little bit better. You can start to use crutches then. By December, she was in a regular foot boot kind of thing, that's soft that you walk in, and a cane. And after winter break, she was back to work. So from July to December, 2 hours a week, she had, she was healed and ready to go. When she went to her checkup with her doctor in December, he was like, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, keep it up. So,
wow, that's had a great story.
So that's just, I'm just absolutely blown away by that. Her will and desire to not be in a cast, not be out of work for that long period of time, and just the whole, I would say, faith in the practice really, really made a difference that, you know, she was back to work at the end of Christmas break, instead of, you know, well, maybe possibly spring break we could have you on crutches for a little while at work. So,
isn't that just great? And that's just wonderful. That's a wonderful story. And what a great testimonial. I hope she has a testimonial on your website, and, you know, she tells all of her friends, because that's a great story about what can happen when you focus that energy, you know, in a way that you can do, you can help people do, and, you know, get all that wonderful chi, you know, moving towards the place where there's the break, and healing.
And healing, yeah. So, you know, there weren't any other signs of trauma. The bones healed very well. Her muscle strength and everything was back with the combination of physical therapy and reflexology. So it was really good. I was amazed.
I love that. Well, as you develop your practice, having you, this is a little business coaching advice, as you develop your practice, creating a specialty for yourself, where you say you specialize in pain relief, is a really good thing to do, because it will differentiate you. And, you know, the more that you can differentiate yourself between you and any other reflexology practitioner, or, you know, any other natural medicine activity that people might try, the more people will understand that you have talent and expertise in a certain area. And as we said, having an expertise is very important. And people then know you and say, oh, Coca, she's the one, you know, that works in reflexology for pain relief. And you know, it's just a little sound bite, but that's what people remember about us. And, you know, it's going to help you grow your business and bring more business by, you know, talking more about your specialty. And then you've just got some wonderful stories to tell. That's fabulous.
Yeah. Those are piling up. Maybe that's a blog right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, any one of those stories could be a single blog post. And not only that, they could be people that give testimonials on your website. You know, because we like testimonials. We like to say, okay, well, this is a real person. This isn't just Coca talking about herself. This is a real client, and you know, not only did she use Coca's services, but they were fabulous for her. And you know, okay, I feel safe trying this. You know, because you know, when it's something different, people say, I don't know what it is. I always tell my medical people that two things clients want to know. They want to know, is it going to hurt, and do I have to take my clothes off?
That's true. That's true. You're mentioning putting it on my testimonials on my website. I'm like, oh, I don't have that on there. I do need to do that. Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a nice listening audience. What kind of symptoms, you know, if they're thinking about themselves and they might be thinking, should I try reflexology? What kind of symptoms or, you know, conditions might they have where you would encourage them to try reflexology?
Just pain. Feet help, yes. Like I had mentioned before, sinus issues, headaches, neuropathy. I would say anytime someone is thinking of medication, they should call and try reflexology.
Okay. That's good. You
have, you know, just a wide range. Another example, a new client had back surgery several times, and with the last surgery, pardon me, has had constant feet pain since 2005. After an hour in my chair, and he stood up, and he's like, oh my gosh, I have never not had pain in my feet. This feels wonderful. So, you know, that was the first session, and, you know, he had constant pain since 2005, the last back surgery he had. And they were contemplating going for surgery again to figure out, it was exploratory surgery, to see if there were pinched nerves or something that was giving him, this constant pain. And his wife was like, "Here, try this." And he was skeptical, but he did it, and, so it's another one that I see once a week. I'd like to increase them to twice a week, but, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I do. That's absolutely fabulous. So if somebody's in pain or has a long-term condition, or, as you said, they're thinking of taking medication for something, they should try reflexology first. That's a good clue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if there's pain going on, or as you say, something constant. So, we've talked about ways to grow your business. I'd really love to brainstorm with you about that. I think, there's probably some things that you could do. So we'll have to communicate and talk about that. I think there's a lot of things that you could do to grow your business since you've...
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, okay. So, I know that some of our listeners would just love to contact you, and we've had this great discussion. Can you give us your contact information and tell people how to get hold of you?
Yes, so my website is Coca's Foot Fix. That's COCASFOOTFIX.com. My phone number is 503-974-4689. My practice is in Proactive Healthcare Clinics in Beaverton, and that address is 4085 Southwest 109th Avenue, Beaverton. Zip code is 97005. I'd like to mention that August is my birthday month. So from August 1st to the 31st, I am offering 1-hour sessions for $50.
Oh.
So everyone can, come and celebrate my birthday.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Reflex.
That's fabulous. It sounds like you really are a good marketer, and we should take advantage of Coca's birthday month. Happy birthday, Coca. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank
We're
you very much.
We're just finishing my birthday month, so I'll pass it on to you.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Well, we've had a great discussion, and listeners, I hope you've enjoyed the show and that you are going to tune in again to our show next week. I'm busily shuffling papers here to see who we're going to have. Our guest is going to be Isla Athland, and I know we're going to have another great and interesting discussion. So in the meantime, I want to remind you that this is Jackie B. Peterson, the author of Better, Smarter, Richer, 7 Business Principles for Solo and Creative Entrepreneurs. And what we do is offer coaching and business development and good advice for solopreneurs, and follow the 7 basic principles as outlined in my book, and also available on my website in the free ebook. And following those principles are really going to help you expand your financial success as a solo. This is not a traditional business that you have, so most business advice simply is not going to work for you. Business advice for solos is what you find at Better, Smarter, Richer. And just so you know, we've got an online study group. The book is a fill-in-the-blanks workbook, and you can take the online where I'm talking with you as you work through the exercises in the book. It's online at opensesame.com. Also on the website, we've got some courses, the most popular of which is how to charge what you're worth, because I find a lot of solos simply don't charge enough money. So we'll look forward to tuning in with you next week on Solo Pro Radio. You can get past shows on the website, soloproradio.com, and I just look forward to chatting with you again. Goodbye.